2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee V6. Let's see how she tows. Let's go for a ride. Hey folks, welcome to the channel. I'm George. We're going to be driving along here, enjoying the beautiful scenery of Tampa Bay via the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. And we've been getting some questions lately in regards to our tow vehicle. You all have noticed that we drive a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And there's been some good and some bad comments in the forums about it, but I wanted to put some of that to rest and kind of discuss the things that we really like about our Grand Cherokee and some of the things that could be better. Really, it's an awesome vehicle. We've had it for about 3 years now, and it has served us very well. They say the best tow vehicle is the one you have out in the driveway, and some people have a sedan, not the best. Some people have a 3/4 ton, 1 ton pickup, which is, the nirvana of tow vehicles. However, the rest of us have your small 1500 or 150 half-ton pickups or an SUV. So we wanted to use what we had, because we had just bought it not too much longer prior to our search for an RV. So we looked at the capabilities of the Jeep, and we took those into consideration when we made our decision on what kind of RV we would buy. And one of the things I really needed to do was actually rather important, was to keep dry weight of the trailer at least around 1,000 pounds less than its gross weight. So that would give us ample capacity to haul the things that we needed to haul and add some things that we wanted to carry on each trip, and give us a little margin at the top without completely maxing out the truck. So that put us in the range of about a 5,200 pound dry weight capacity in the dry weight for the trailer, because our Jeep has a max trailer weight capacity of 6,200 pounds. We're equipped with a V6 two-wheel drive. 6,200 is the maximum trailer weight, and it gives us a max hitch tongue weight of 620 pounds is recommended by Jeep. So we had to use those numbers when we went in looking for the RV. Well, we found the RV that we really liked, and it came in at 5,300 pounds. So about 100 pounds more than I wanted, but figured it was close enough. And we have found over time that our camping weight, our travel weight in the trailer, and we've taken it to the commercial truck scales and weighed it, is right at 5,800 to 5,900 pounds, all loaded for the trip. So we were within the limits of the trailer and the truck as far as max tow weight of the trailer. And the other thing we needed to have consideration of, to be considerate of, was the max tongue weight. On the Jeep, it's 6,200 pounds. Well, our trailer's a front kitchen, and it tends to be on the heavier side of the tongue. So we really have to monitor how we load and balance the trailer. And so I went out and bought a scale. It's a Shoreline, I think it is, a tongue scale that I set up under the tongue, and I measure our tongue weight prior to each trip. We get it completely loaded, bring the slide in, and raise the stabilizers, and it's set at level, and then I weigh it, and I try to keep my tongue weight between 600 and 620 pounds. Usually it's right at 620 pounds. And if we have to, we'll shift some weight around the trailer to get there. That gives us the safe weight distribution for the trailer to minimize sway, and it keeps us in the limits of the Jeep. We have a 2015 Grand Cherokee Limited. It's a two-wheel drive, and I'll throw some specs up here, what the different values are for the Jeep. And it's a fairly decent towing vehicle. It's fun to drive. It's got based on a Mercedes chassis, so it handles really well. It's very quick to get up to speed on the interstate. It handles its own. We first rented one up in the mountains of North Carolina a number of years ago, and it was just an amazing SUV to drive. It did not have a lot of understeer for a vehicle as heavy as it is. It handled relatively well considering it's an SUV, and it was fun to drive. So when it came time to replace our other SUV, that was really where I wanted to go. I liked the looks of it. and it drove very well. If you have a V6, you get 6,200 pounds. If you have the V8 in the Jeep, you get 7,200 pounds of trailer weight, 720-pound tongue weight. I'm not sure if they changed much in the suspension in the rear. That's probably one of the weaknesses of this SUV is the rear suspension. It tends to be soft like it is in most SUVs. And that's to give it that car-like ride that most people expect from a luxury level vehicle nowadays. They really want their trucks driving like cars of old. And the Jeep Grand Cherokee, it really does drive well. It's very comfortable on long trips. It handles most bumps very well. It tends to get a little rattly on washboard and stuff, but overall, it gives you a pleasant ride. But because of that, it has to have some softer springs in the back. So it's really sensitive to the payload that you put in it and the tongue weight of the trailer that you put on it. Jeep requires at 5,000 pounds or more that you use a weight distributing hitch. Not a weight carrying, but a weight distributing hitch. So we invested in what we feel is probably one of the better weight distributing hitches out there, and that's the Equalizer 4-point anti-sway hitch. It's a nice hitch. It's a 10,000 pound rated. We looked at the 6,000 pound rated, but because the Jeep has a class 4 hitch, which is 10,000 pound rated, the max capacity of the Jeep is 6,200 pounds trailer weight. It was over the limits of the next level down on the Equalizer. Now with a 6,000 pound Equalizer, so we went up to the 10, and with that adjusted, and it's taken a number of trips to get that dialed in to where I feel the ride is as level as it's going to get, and it's not over adjusted. It does a good job. So at 5,000 pounds, Jeep wants a weight distributing hitch on there. Another thing that you really need with a larger trailer, and it's going to be a brake trailer controller. We have an electric brake controller. The Jeep doesn't come with a built-in one. It doesn't come with any kind of tow haul mode either. But it doesn't come with a brake controller, but they did design into the wiring harness a shunt, a plug underneath the steering wheel where it's not factory. But it doesn't look bad, and it works really, really well. We had to take the Jeep back to the Jeep dealership and have them reflash the computer to recognize the brake controller. That was $75. Not a big deal, but we did that. And since then, the brake controller works awesome. We got it set up with the gain to just slightly lead the truck's brakes, so the trailer brakes will activate just a little ahead of the truck. So the stopping is very linear, very smooth. The truck doesn't dive. It's not getting pushed around by the trailer. And it seems to work really well. Another thing, we find that with the Jeep, it handles most hills, most bridges fairly well. Florida and Southeast United States, they're relatively flat, and we really don't have any problems. The Skyway Bridge that we're traveling over here now probably has about a 4% grade. It's not terrible, but it's fairly long. The Jeep handles it really well. It downshifts into about 4th, and it wants to run around 3,500 RPM. That's one thing about this small V6 is the torque band comes in relatively high at 4,800 pounds to get that full 260 pounds of torque. That's screaming. We have not found that we've really needed to get it up that high to get full torque out of it in the travels we've done. Now, if we were to take this up into the mountains or out west, we'd probably be stretching the limits of the Jeep, and we'd probably wear it out sooner than later, and that's not something we want to do. So for right now, with our travels and our needs in the Southeast United States and Florida, it does a pretty good job. Like I said, it's comfortable, and it tows the trailer that we have. We have a ROCKWOOD Mini Lite 2506. It tows it respectively. The Jeep does not have a tow or haul mode like you see in some pickups. However, built in the electronic traction control system is a anti-sway system where the computer will recognize apparently the uncharacteristic swaying of the truck, and somehow the computer is able to recognize the sway when the back of the truck begins to move. And when it senses that, it starts to apply differential braking, and lower the RPM of the engine to help get the sway under control. That, coupled with the anti-sway built into the hitch, makes it a fairly safe operation. To summarize, we love our Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's done us well. It tows for what we need for right now, tows it well. We probably will upgrade to a 3/4 ton truck, because our plans here in retirement, which has come up real quick, are to go out west. We really want to get into the mountains, not in the deserts. We want to do some long distance towing. Alaska's actually in our future. So the Jeep is just not up to that. It's good for weekend travel, short week-long vacation travels where you're towing fairly flat. I have no problem doing that all the time. But with our aspirations to go further and higher, we really need to upgrade. So we'll skip right over a half-ton pickup. We're going to go right to a 3/4 ton pickup. That way we have room to grow in the future. But overall, we loved our Jeep. We do love it. We're going to use it for a little bit longer. It serves us well. If you have a small trailer, I'd say the sweet spot for the Jeep is probably 4,500 pounds or less. So anywhere from your pop-up to, say, a 21 foot RV trailer. I think the Jeep would operate phenomenally in those weight ranges and really give you years of good service. But anyway, thanks for joining me on the trip here and taking in the beautiful scenery of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge here in Tampa Bay, Florida. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, sorry about that. And you feel like you got to give a thumbs down, and don't give a thumbs down. Share the video. Hit subscribe for our future videos. We've got a lot coming up. A lot of trips we'll be doing, and some more DIY stuff we're going to be doing to the trailer. Hit subscribe, hit the bell next to that, get the notifications when the videos come out. We really do thank you for taking the time to watch our videos. It's really been awesome to see the response to the videos we've put out. So thank you very much, and we'll talk to you all later. See ya.